Well, hi, Blue. All right, I'll be popping the screen here shortly, I think. Oh, let's see if it's gonna work. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I will live because I may just end up running a cafe show from Discord because it looks like that screen's not turned on. Oh, right. We'll we'll live without the screen if it's not going to work here. I don't. Well, I'm trying right now. I've got pushing to YouTube. I'm pushing to the yeah. I'm pushing to the plaza. That's the link there to the plaza. So whether or not I don't know what's going on. Whether or not it's just turned off right now or what the case is, I'll check with Lizette in the morning and see if that's going to be open every day because the hope was that they were hoping to be able to me run the show simulcast in here. I will do it anyways. I'll leave the camera up just because, and I will use the share screen just because. Anybody who wants to see it, it's going to be over on YouTube. Let's do it. Welcome into the Cafe Nightly Show. I'm your host, The Goldsmith. Today is the 6th of December, 2023. Welcome in. We're going to try again. We're going to try to make this work at the plaza. It looks like we don't have broadcast on the screen, but we're still going to try to make things work in a simulcast, multi-location. Trying to get everybody who can't be in one place or the other, can't be in Discord, can't be in the plaza. Try to catch everyone as best we can. But we do have a couple things to come over. Obviously, a couple of things that kind of snuck by that people haven't seen. Obviously, the big one was Miami. Get into what happened in the Mint, get into where we stand now with the city, and of course, touch back on what is still left to come because Miami, as it has been set out, there's a couple different contests that are built in for minting that are going to take place over the next week. There is another sale here coming up for the terminals. So we will check back on all of those details for Miami as it currently stands. Looking back at the day in Miami, we do have a little bit of a sneaky that Upland's been working on. We'll take a look at that. That is a layer one Easter egg that we can take a look at if we do zoom into the map of Upland and get a better idea of what might be coming up for holiday celebrations in 2023 Christmas season or 2023 holiday season here over the next several weeks. But before we get into all that, obviously get the disclaimer out of the way. All views and opinions expressed by myself, that are mine and mine alone, should be taken as game strategy or financial advice. Any guests we do have on, they are welcome to their opinions. Their opinions are theirs, but it shouldn't be taken as game strategy or financial advice. And of course, anything that I say, anything that a guest says, it's not something that should be taken as coming from the game of Upland, the team of Upland. Anything that a guest says shouldn't be taken as something coming from myself, the Goldsmith, or representing the Cafe Nightly Show as a whole. As we do jump in, I'm going to keep my eyes out on Discord tonight because it looks like that's where we got a decent amount of people right now. So keep my eyes on Discord. If you do have questions, comments throughout the show, feel free to get things dropped in there. We'll go over questions and comments, and when I can get back and check, I will be streaming my screen on YouTube. Anybody wants to follow along, and then of course, if you're in the plaza, let's make the plaza work as best we can. Let's make the audio work as best we can. And like I said, it looks like the screen might not be working, but let's have the audio in all three places as best I can do until we get the better iterations here of the plaza as we do move forward with this getting updated along the way. So let's get things kicked off. Obviously, first and foremost, let's drop back and take a look at the city of Miami right now. I'm taking a look at a couple things, obviously on the Mint. So first and foremost, with the Mint today, kicking things off 9 a.m. PT, it was smooth. It was something that we have had this issue with for city release after city release after city release in the early iterations of the game, and then things have gotten a lot better, and they've gotten a lot better because Upland has gotten better about setting up for the Mint. They've done a couple things that do make things a little more smooth. One of which is turn off block explorers during the Mint. The other of which is turn off 3D assets in the entire game so that there is a less draw, less lag there on the graphics, making it a lot easier to load up for most people. People with limited internet connections did have a better mint experience than they would have otherwise. And of course, it's just a matter of Upland upgrading their systems internally as well. So definitely, what can be said is everything seemed to run very well, seemed to run very smoothly. There was a little bit of that blue wave where you saw a lot of things go to light blue because they all seem to mint at the exact same time because of refresh rates, but there wasn't any major spinning wheels when you went to mint something. You could see a quick message that said somebody else had already minted that property before you, so it made it easy to keep track of and get on to the next mint. So I can't complain about the way this mint went for me. Any problems that people had, obviously, the best thing to do after a city release, if you have a personal issue, it likely is personally located, or something that is of your own, something that you can probably uh, chalk up to there being issues with your internet connection. However, you can always, if you think it is a major issue or a larger issue, get it into tech bugs. Obviously, the team needs to know what the experience is there. Today, there was a lot of people in the Upland Cafe during the minting, which is great because if there are issues, if people are having problems during the mint, it can get put out there. The team can hear what's going on there. They can keep their eyes out on general. They do. If people are having major issues, they try to stop things before they continue to be major or continue to have issues for a number of people, making things not work as well. And again, thank you so much, God, for letting me know that the screen is running. It's really funny the way iterations work here in the plaza. If you come in at the wrong time, I'm not seeing the same thing everyone else is, but that is absolutely fine. I'm glad it is working now. And of course, the one other thing that did happen in Miami, that I foresaw coming, I think a lot of people did, is the high speculation properties. They minted quickly, as one would expect. The properties that were lower speculation or that people weren't waiting for, they're sitting there unminted. You can definitely go and mint some of those properties. Those are still available. A lot of properties that are lower UPX per UP2 in the range of 200 UPX per UP2 are sitting unminted, are sitting available if you do want to get into Miami. A lot of the areas, again, on the western side of the city, are definitely in that category. So keep your eyes out. If you have a pile of UPIX you didn't get in today to mint, you can go and mint some properties again with a lower UPX per UP2 if you choose to do so. But the other second chance here is, as we went to mint the properties today, we had the question of, what are these reserved properties? Are they reserved to one area for the people who had bought the pass? Are they going to be spread out among the map? Are they going to be in one area versus another? And there was a ton of properties when we looked today that were NA properties. They were not available, and they were all over the place. They were in different neighborhoods. They were on, a couple of them were on high speculation streets. So it's going to really be a little bit of a lottery ticket when you go and redeem, or you get snapshot, I should say, of for having that pass on the on the snapshot. What you're going to end up seeing is it's going to be a crapshoot of who gets lucky. It's going to be, everyone's going to get one property reserved for them per pass. But the question is of all of those passes that are reserved, all of the properties that are reserved, who gets what? And again, that's why I'm holding on to my lottery ticket. That's why I'm holding on to my pass, because who knows? Maybe I do get a property that I personally wasn't able to get to quick enough to mint. Maybe something coastal, maybe something on Bicknell, maybe something in a place that another place in the city, like Miami, where people are going to see that, or likely to see that become a collection, or at least that's the common held belief. So if that's what's going to happen, if we're going to have a random draw for what properties we end up with, I'm not too hurt by that. Again, this idea was, what properties can we get? The answer is better than what I might have feared, or what some people might have feared. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having those drawn. Again, in another week, we have the collection reveal on the 13th before we have that snapshot, so people have a chance to exchange those around, decide who wants another property in Miami. But once that snapshot is taken, that's when it's set in stone. That's when you are going to either reserve the property or not. And again, the specifics of that property is going to be whatever comes out to that random draw. So one thing I did want to take a look at getting back into Miami is what else is left, because there is a lot else that is left. I'm going to get the screen share here up so we can take a look at the calendar, because there's a number of other events that we'll be looking at over the next week or so with Miami. I'll get this popped up so we can take a look. And as I'm doing so, obviously the reminder is the big one is we did have another thing happen today, and we'll take a look at that as well. That first couple hours of Mint is where we're going to have captured and where people have the opportunity to earn those badges, earn the badges for the Mint. Again, a lot of people, have looked at these badges as these rare items, as these things that everybody wants to build up a collection of over time. They've been more rare at some points than they have been at others, but this is another opportunity to earn them. Of course, things kicked off 9 a.m. PT today. We do know that the minting did happen. We know a little bit about Miami at this point. Obviously, when we minted, we did mint in vanilla. We know that's the case. Quick reminder, even though this is going to be a tier 3 city, the target for Miami is a tier 3 city. That's what it will be in the future. As of today, for treasure hunting, when people do get going and treasure hunting in Miami, it is going to start out as a tier 4 treasure hunt. That means the current send fees are set to 50 max, 20 default, and 10 as the low. So 20 default, 50 high, 10 as the low is what we're set up for in Miami. I saw a lot of 50s. I saw a lot of 50s today. So people obviously cranked their send fees at the get-go, trying to get as many sends as they could during the city mint. We do know that the total collections for the city is going to be anywhere between 14 and 20. We don't know that number. We know that's the entire city, though, so that it's not necessarily going to fall in the currently minted portions of the city. Vanilla is where we are right now. Collection reveal is going to be next Wednesday, 9 a.m. PT. So definitely keep that in mind, that we are headed towards a week out for that collection reveal. So we will be in collection speculation mode for the next week here. And while we do that, we'll be getting in, hopefully finding time for Mr. Bananas to sneak himself in here. We didn't get him in here in time. We didn't get him in quite early enough to be able to make his comments to let us know what his thoughts were before we did have the vanilla sale. But we will have the opportunity to get him back in here during collection week, collection spec, and theoretically be a little informed about what people are doing on the secondary market, and maybe a little bit of information is going to be helpful with your plans between now and collection reveal. What we did have was 32,500 properties launched today. Again, we have a percentage of those. In certain neighborhoods, it's as much as 60% unminted. In other neighborhoods, they're entirely minted except for FSA properties. Again, higher speculation properties, higher speculation neighborhoods, higher speculation streets, they were minted out in 6 to 8 minutes. So nothing too surprising here. We've seen this in other cities. The question was how much OPEX was going to be burnt through in the first 6 to 10 minutes, and how was that going to carry over for the rest of the city mint. Again, there was a lot of UPX per UP2 set in the range of 900, 1,000, all the way up to 2,500 UPX per UP2 in limited areas. That did again suck some of the available UPX out of the market in minting. So we'll have to see. We do see people come back the day after and the next couple days after the city release. Do try to mint out there. We know people don't make the mint at time of, but then later come in day of. So we'll watch this throughout the week to see what mint out looks like. We'll get we'll hopefully pull some numbers later in the week and see what percentage of the properties are still available in the city. But for today, for now, there are definitely properties still available. Anybody who is trying to get into Miami at this time. Percent of properties that were FSA is about 20%. We did see those are concentrated in many of the less expensive neighborhoods. Many of the neighborhoods that are around 200 UPX per UP2 had a decent amount of those FSA properties concentrated there. Again, as of right now, we know there's going to be an expansion. We don't know when it's going to be, but it will eventually double the size of Miami, 32,500 as of right now. Again, total is going to be about 70,000 once they're all up. We can see in the map, map here is going to be what we are looking at for our portion of Miami that we have right now. And again, anything in the orange here, if you are following along, if you're on YouTube, if you're in the plaza, anything in the orange is what is open for minting right now. So definitely get in and mint the properties you wish to do so. But the big thing that we did not do ahead of time, but we always have to do for these cities with travel is get there and get out. So there are going to be a total of 20 terminals for sale that is coming Friday. Thursday, that's tomorrow. Registration is open. Registration opens at 7 on the 7th tomorrow at 8 a.m. PT. It runs to 8 a.m. PT on Friday, with the sale taking place at 9 a.m. PT on Friday. So get in, do your registration tomorrow. Generally, this registration doesn't matter when you do it. I know people have, their good luck charms and they cross their fingers and they try to get in the first second, the second. But realistically, in these registration periods, it's supposed to be randomized whether you register first or last in that sale. So you got 24 hours to register. And then, of course, the sale kicking off 9 a.m. PT on Friday the 8th. We are looking at a total of 10 domestic terminals, plane terminals at 1,280 UPIX. For international terminals, $1,280 USD. I wish they were UPIX. $1,280 USD. International terminals, 10 total, $1,536 USD. Again, US dollars to mint each of those terminals. You got to get lucky. Historically, these do sell relatively quickly, and there's only 10 going to be available of each. Key note here is trains are not going to be available for Miami for a while. The reason why we don't have trains is because we're not taking trains from the airport into the city of Miami. And we also don't have anywhere to go within short travel from Miami right now. If we get Atlanta, if we get some other, southeast city, we may see trains come into Miami. But again, Upwind says none as of this time. We'll just keep our eyes open, see what other cities come up in the area. And I'm sure trains will come when that happens as well. So the collection reveal again is next week. It's next Wednesday. Just the basics on that. 8:55 a.m. PT. If everything's working fine, a message goes out in Discord. A message will go out in the Game of Upland that says it's really happening. The reveal is happening in 5 minutes, and then the reveal will happen at 9 a.m. PT. The caveat, the notes, the thing to keep in mind on these is if there's any issues with the collection reveal, we don't want it to happen. We don't want half the people to not be able to mint immediately following the collection reveal. So just keep in mind if there's any issues there. Obviously, Upwind will have to play it by ear. But since things worked pretty well today, I expect them and hope them to work well next Wednesday as well. Special Miami Block Explorer sale. That reservation sale did already happen, but there's a second sale here coming up. Exclusive Block Explorer shop sale. As of right now, we are waiting for that registration to open. Registration opens on the 14th. That is next week. 8 a.m. PT runs to 8 a.m. PT the day following the 15th. And the 15th, 9 a.m. PT, that is when that sale is going to happen. Sale is going to happen direct to Block Explorer stores. Block Explorer stores are then going to be able to resale these Block Explorers. And the reason why people are going to be hunting for those Block Explorers, trying to buy those Block Explorers, other than just to have them, is going to be for this first ever Block Explorer burn. This Block Explorer burn mechanic is something that people have talked about for a while. What do we do with all the assets in the game of Upland? This is Upland's current solution: is put out more assets than you actually intend to be here, burn a percentage of them. So let's see how that works. If they can make the mechanic work well, there's no issues, there's no errors in the burn mechanism, then we could definitely see this be something that gets repeated. Again, this is going to be a limited number of Block Explorers total available for these. We're looking at for the Glowing Escape, there's 25 of version A and 25 of version B. Glow Bar, same thing, 25 version A, 25 version B. And Miami Sunset Sprint, 25 version A and 25 version B. And the key thing here to note is you have a period of time to burn that's between the 15th at 9 a.m. PT and the 22nd of 9 a.m. PT. I expect that they won't get fully redeemed. All the burns won't happen for two reasons. Number one, percentage of people will say, I just want to keep the original Block Explorer. I don't want to have to burn 3 Block Explorers to get one. We're also going to see potentially just people don't acquire everything. They acquire part of the collection and not all of it. We just saw this happen, obviously, when we did have the Black Friday sale. On the Black Friday sale, we did have collections, or people build the collection, get all of the four, and then obviously get the fifth Block Explorer for free. And then we got about 30 of those. So same opportunity, same situation. You have to put a little bit of work to collect all of them, but a little different in that you have to give up all three to get the fourth. And the more people that burn the original Block Explorers, the original Miami Block Explorer for the Block Explorer sale on the 5th, the more limited the remaining are going to be. So we'll have to see how that balances. I will expect that there'll be a number of people who will want to keep the original Block Explorer, because there may be fewer of those original Block Explorers than they are of the Glow Edition after the burn and the redemption cycle. Miami passes, as I did mention earlier up front, Miami passes are going to be exchangeable for the next week. Buy them, sell them, trade them, whatever you want to do. They are your opportunity to get another reserved property in Miami. As of right now, some of those properties look like nice areas. There's no way to guarantee which property you're going to get, but once that snapshot happens on the 14th, you will find what properties are reserved for you, what property is reserved for you, one per pass, and then be able to figure that out from there, whether you want to mint that property or not. Again, I was pretty impressed that some of these are on collection streets, or highly speculated collection streets, but you will know. Everyone will know what the collections are on the 13th, next Wednesday. The snapshots on the 14th. So theoretically, if you see where the collections come out and you see that, wow, there's three ultra rares that are reserved and they aren't minted and they're going to be in this bunch, then obviously it may change your opinion on whether you want to be somebody who sells your pass or goes and acquires another one. So we'll have to see how this goes. As of right now, this is the first time they're doing this mechanic. We'll have to see, again, just like the burn. We'll have to see how that's successful. With the pass mechanic, you're not burning that pass. You don't have to do anything with it special. You just have to hold it until the snapshot on the 14th. With the burn mechanism, it's more of a hands-on affair. You have to have all three of the Block Explorers. You have to burn all three in the right combination. And if you don't, you may lose your originals and not get the redemption. So keep that in mind. That is kind of one of those, use your caution, use accuracy, make sure you know what you're doing before you do it, because we don't want the Block Explorers to end up in limbo and you to end up with nothing for it. A burn is permanent. Burn means it's gone, and it's nobody's asset once it's burnt. But one of the big things that's couched here, we'll come back to a part of this that's important to know as well. But the big thing that's couched here is to help encourage people to mint Miami and hopefully mint out Miami. Upland is giving a pretty big incentive to do so. Every property you mint is an entry into the potential to win limited edition Miami cars. There are going to be a total of 15. There's 3 separate cars. There's a Model T. There is or Series T, I should say. There's a Series T Miami edition. There's a Series 4 Miami edition. There's a Series 1 Miami edition. Each one will have 5 mints, and that'll be it. They're painted up to look all neon and black with neon paint over top is what it looks like. But they are going to likely have some different stats, just like we've seen in these other limited edition, limited supply cars, where there's a special stats, where they are elevated stats, where they're pretty similar to the rare version as far as stats, if not better. So that makes these some pretty special cars. I had a line on a stock car pro today, and that's the same thing. It's like they have some really impressive stats compared to other previous cars we've had in the game of Upland, and it's fun to get them raced out on the track. So again, that's what you're competing for. That's one additional incentive that Upland's putting out there this time around. Big incentive here is if you had put the little extra effort in, maybe it's really hard to hit the Mint Master. It's really hard to earn a badge on these Mint Master badges. But if you put a little extra effort in, you win that badge. You get 25 entries for being a Mint Master, getting a Mint Master badge. That's essentially like buying 25 properties when it comes to entries into this contest. So congratulations to those who hint the badges today. Take a quick look at those badge winners. Again, that was announced earlier today. Let's take a quick look. Take a quick look at the winners today. Again, we've got four categories for our badges. We have the Pioneer Badge winners. Pioneer Badges, obviously the people who minted the first three properties in Miami. This is one of those things that you can't control. Everyone hits the button at about the same time. People with faster internet or potentially the person with a faster finger is the one who is going to get this, or the three with the fastest fingers anyways, are going to get the Pioneer Badge. Relix 27, MST Cross, and Y Vancer appear to be the three winners. Again, 25 entries for each. They get a badge as well. And there's badge and spark, and there's everything to the winners, right? The top minter badge winners. Hats off to the top three players with the highest mints or highest number of mints total in that snapshot window. Wisdom Truth, Sotheby's, and Adhya, AADHYA. Congratulations to the three. Big Fish badge winners. Again, this is a badge that's just for the largest properties. They're pricey. They end up being pricey, but they're also only three of the three largest properties in there. Get lucky, get them minted fast, make a strategy. If you want big properties for factories, this may be something that you end up earning along the way. The three largest properties each, could have earned you a badge. The three with badges is I Am Gentleman, Big D12, and TB 125, each earning a Big Fish badge. And of course, the cozy badge winners. These are the smallest properties minted in the city. I'm going to assume we're going to get a lot of properties in each city that are about the same size at the bottom. We do know they are randomly drawn if there is a large number of ties here. Pesman, Highlander 30, and Orico, three smallest properties in the city. The cool thing about the small city badges, the small properties are more likely to become FSAs. This means that there is a badge category that new players may be ending up with. They may have a little bit of an advantage to potentially win that badge, and maybe they get skewed a little bit their way. But these other areas, these other badges are much harder to get or almost impossible if you're a new player, if you have a small account size. So I'm all for it. I'm glad it's there. And again, congratulations to everyone who did earn a pass here. The key thing. The key things on these badges, obviously, is these badges are great, but that 25 entries into winning one of the cars is greater still. So looking forward to it, to having that drawing. That drawing is going to take place for the three different versions of the Miami edition of the Series 1, the Series T, and the Series 4, happening on the 22nd of December at noon is when the entry period ends, and obviously the drawing will happen shortly thereafter. So we're going to take a look at something that is entirely different and is not Miami related, but is something that I was pretty excited to see earlier today. Let me see the best way to share this, drop this, get this out there. Let me see if I can get it dropped in. Don't have a slide bit built. Get that kicked off. I'll drop it in the Discord. Anyone's following the Discord, feel free to take a look. I'm going to jump out of the plaza so I can get in and take a look at Layer 1 Upland. But take a look at this. Pretty interesting. I was happy to see it. I thought it was something that here we go. I thought it was something that it surprised me a little bit. Well, let's see if I can find it. But what I'm looking at, what I did see earlier today, was something that we have seen on the map before we have manufacturing that Upland has a couple factories that they are continuing to maintain, that they are continuing, to manufacture things that. But if you do keep your eye on them, if you do look and see what's going on there, you may get a hint of what Upland's up to, what's Upland is up to next, and a little bit of a hint here as far as seeing what Upland's up to. Obviously, can be done, can be something we can keep track of on a periodic basis, and every once in a while we get a quick glimmer of what's going on, what's going on in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. And I think we have a pretty good sign of just that. If I go over to my account searches, one of the accounts we should keep track of, all of the official accounts of Upland should keep a track on. Obviously, we do have the MV Motors, MV_Motors is one to keep track of. You can see what cars are getting built at what times. Is there a new car that's being built? That kind of gives you an idea of maybe there's a prize right around the bend, or did we just see the new models come out here? We also have one that we haven't seen a lot of activity on is Upland_Carts. Upland_Carts is obviously the account used to manufacture the carts for our Genesis carts earlier this year. We can take a look at that manufacturing ground, and on that manufacturing ground, if you're following along, if you're watching the video, on that manufacturing ground, we will see that there's a bunch of cars that are in there. We can kind of to get a closer look, zoom in here, and see that we have a lot of Genesis carts in there. And I did ask people what their opinions were, or what they thought the Genesis carts might be coming from. Let me get that stream over here on that. What they thought the Genesis carts may be coming from. But realistically, I think what we're seeing is just the oversupply. Upland had to make a certain number of Genesis carts, not knowing the number of people who would participate, who would be at Genesis Week this year. They made more than they needed, and they're still sitting over there. So that's an interesting thing that we can always take a look at when we look at Upland's accounts. But there's something else interesting that I'm really looking at, and that I saw that's worth keeping an eye on. So we can see all these Genesis carts over here. I can see. Oh, okay, I can zoom in. I can go and see all these Genesis carts. I can see what my mint numbers are on these carts as I jump in. I never try to do so, anyways. But what I do see right next to them, right beside them, is right here. This is the Frumpy Crumbs. I'm going to snap it, so that we can take a quick look and get it over here into the Upland Cafe. If you aren't seeing it along, easiest way, if you're in the game of Upland, if you're going to go back in the game of Upland shortly, go under user search, go to Upland_Carts, take a look, get over to their factory, see this for yourself. You can get the 3D, you can get a good look at this, and of course, the biggest thing, obviously, is here we go. The biggest thing, obviously, that we can do here is just see the overall scale, how many of these are getting manufactured. We do see overall, we're seeing the count of these carts build up. It looks like they're building and preparing for a sale. It looks like this is something, and I'm dropping it in the cafe for those who are following around the cafe. It looks like this is something that we're likely going to see a sale, or at least prizes or a contest for these carts here very shortly. The Frumpy Crumbs. So this is a gingerbread cart. This is obviously a cart like we did have for our Genesis Week carts, in that they have the same stats right across the board, or they're supposed to have the same stats from one cart to the next. It's just a matter of aesthetics, the way they look. So that's how you differentiate. That's what you want to have. You want to have the aesthetics you want to have. But the key thing here, the interesting thing here, the thing I want to point out again, keep the pessimistic hat off on this one, but just to keep in mind, people have been working on UGC carts for a while. It's something they've been waiting, for months and months. They've been going through the process. They've been waiting for the open process for submissions, and it's been a little bit of a long process. And people have known they've got factories, they just haven't had a chance to manufacture yet. here Upland is manufacturing the Frumpy Crumbs cart. This will likely be one of the first carts, or be the first cart potentially. Fingers crossed, maybe UGC will sneak in, but the first major sale of a large number of these carts all at once, or whatever it is, whether it's a contest or it's a sale. And it's just been a little while for UGC to try to get things kicked off. So hopefully the two can be contemporaries. Hopefully this getting manufactured, or Upland helping to get this manufactured, did help them prepare to get everyone else's carts going. I'd love to see carts being manufactured, the UGC carts manufactured and into the marketplace right around Christmas time. Spend your Christmas epics on carts. We'll have to see how that happens. But this is definitely going to be something, another holiday sale. We know Upland has been pretty good about putting out holiday sales for a while. And this is going to be either a holiday sale or a holiday prize, here the Frumpy Crumbs car. And again, just to zoom out on that, that is the Upland Carts factory. Upland Carts factory. I can see that they've got a lot of carts here still to be manufactured, and looks like they've got another total of 104 in queue. So looks like a total of 200 as of right now. Maybe that number will change at one point or another, but that sale should be upcoming, or that contest will be upcoming at some point in the near future. How fast does the thing go? It is going to go exactly the same speed. It's going to travel at exactly the same speed as a Genesis car. So let me see if I can get the stats up on one of these things. I know the stats pop up different than they pop up on carts. Let me see. Yeah, it's about, like I said, it's about the same. It's going to be the same speed as the car that we already have with Genesis Week. Hopefully we have some UGC carts to race against it, all having the same stats, all being determined, or the performance thereof, all being determined by how you as a racer interact with the car on the racetrack. One other thing that we are looking forward to, obviously, between now and next week, or the one big thing, obviously, is spec week. Like I said, we are going to get in with Banana here hopefully later this week, over the weekend, to go over and review a couple of the neighborhoods to keep your eye on, as we do have collection reveal next Wednesday. The other big thing that we do want to keep our eyes on, or I'm going to try to keep my eyes on as well, is we are going to have an interview this coming Friday. I don't think it's a secret, so I won't keep it one, but we do have some new features rolling out in the Layer 2 side of things. One of the Layer 2 developers will be in on this Friday to talk about a new series, or a new set of features releasing this Friday into the early next week. So another thing to keep our eyes out for. Who is this Banana guy? Banana, it is you. We're gonna try to sneak you in here in the next 4 days. We're gonna have to see what your schedule looks like, because we've already had the vanilla sale, but we haven't had collection reveal. So, people may still want to be worried about what the collections are. People may still want to have that speculation, and it's still worth celebrating, or keeping our eyes on, or talking about the city of Miami, at least until that collection reveal, and until we get distracted with totems or something. And on that note, I want to check one last thing before we do say adieu, before we open up mics and get people in. It's something I got to do on a daily basis, because I always want to be surprised. I always want Upland to sneak this in on me, and that is our totem countdown. We do know that Chapter 5 totems have been released, or have been announced already. We're waiting on an official of when the next sale is going to be, and as of right now, taking a look, we see nothing. 0 days, 0 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds has not yet been updated. So totems are going to be at some point in the future. Chapter 5, we don't know when. We'll have to see when Upland updates us on it. But of course, that is just one more thing to head towards the end of this year. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. As always, opening up the mics to the floor. Thank you so much for being part of the show. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me or DM me in the game of Upland to the Goldsmith. DM me in Discord to the Goldsmith as well. And of course, mics are open. The floor is yours. I'll be around to answer questions, but more than anything, just keep the conversation going. If anyone has any successes from today, if anyone had any points to put out from their minting experiences, feel free to do so and have that conversation. Again, thank you so much. Floor is yours. Uh, yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see. Yeah. It'd be nice for that to be there. I mean, obviously, it has to be there by the time the utility is. Yeah. You're unmuted. We can hear you. God. Uh, I'm gonna end stream right now. Done deal.